Yes.
Don, Brian talked about how when you were talking the other day about opponents are going to sag their defense and all that stuff, that you were giving him a scouting report how they wanted to play. How much was this sort of a learning experience for your guys dealing with that?
Well, the biggest thing that's learned is energy and effort trumps talent. Just does. It always has, it always will. Now, talent that trumps the energy and effort, and they do both, like they come out, then you dominate play. Obviously, our talent isn't playing with enough energy and effort. But every team's going to play us the same way. Going to hold it a little bit. They're going to try to trick us a little bit, try to make threes, and then run back and jump in the lane and make us, don't give us a chance to get to the basket. What we did is we'd throw one pass and hold the ball and try to drive it. You can't. You swing the ball, you make hard cuts, you open up lanes where they can't come in. And when we did it, we kept getting wide open shots, but guys started holding the ball. But the biggest thing is you give up 30 points and you're like, guys, they're making threes. Are you watching the game? So we had a lot of that today. We have a ways to go. Like I told the guy after it, doesn't look like the #1 team to me.
Cal, it seemed like at least early, maybe Dakari, Julius, the only two guys out there giving you really the effort.
Well, James Young was really good.
Yeah.
James Young, Dakari, and the only reason I did what I did in the second half, I told Dakari, you play great, but I got to get Julius or Marcus Lee in the game. Now what you see is like you got to play Marcus Lee, so who doesn't play? Somebody. So who is it? Because he goes in with that kind of energy, he changes the game. Yeah, because I wanted to see, I had to see guys. I had to see Derek Willis, had to see Dominic. Let me see them in this game now where a team is more organized, where they're trying to trick you and do different things. They're playing a certain way. It was a little tougher on those guys. I thought Jared was good. Well, all that Jared did was run really hard and push the ball. Well, we had absolutely none of that in the first half. We didn't get a breakout. There's the difference between running and sprinting. We have a lot of guys that running has always been good enough, and this is me. You can't be on the court then. It's okay, but you can't be out there. This was a great lesson. John Hood played well. I even said after, how'd John Hood play? They said he played great. Yeah, he missed every shot, but he played great because he played hard. He just competed. We had a lot of non-competitive guys out there that they're just going to have to learn, and this was a great lesson for them. And then if you don't compete, I'm taking you out, which is what I've always done throughout my coaching career until last year. Couldn't.
Cal, there was a moment in the second half there, I think after John Hood's dunk, maybe you turned to the bench and were kind of upset. Were guys not excited enough?
I made everybody stand up. Like, this is what you're going to do. This is who you're going to be if you don't start competing. So get to learn it. Stand up and cheer and wave the towel and do whatever you want to do, but you're not going to sit there. So you get in that game, you fight like crazy. And some of it was, lineups. Well, then maybe one or two of those guys don't need to be on the court. But when I watch the tape, it'll be more obvious. We just stopped. We didn't talk. We blamed a teammate. I mean, they scored 12 in the second half, and 6 of them were on the team that I couldn't leave on the floor. The guys that I started the game with. I had to take them out again because I didn't, said, you guys, come on now.
Cal, you had a couple 5-for-5 substitutions there in the second half. Is that something you're going to do a lot this year, or is that just kind
if we get that kind of effort, that's exactly what will happen. They'll all come out. Then the guys will be saying, please don't play me with him and him because you're going to take us all out. Then all of a sudden peer pressure takes over. And then I don't have to coach the guy to play hard. They will. Or they'll walk over to me and say, take him out. Just get him out of the game. So this was a great lesson for us. It's what this team needed. And Brian did exactly what we wanted Transy to do. Played really hard, spread the court, kept coming at us, made threes, sagged on defense, and were physical. Like the first guy that caught it and went after it and just said, that's it, I'm just scoring, was James Young. Then I looked at Julius and I said, why aren't you doing that? Throw it off the backboard and go get it and score it. But you could do that, except you're going to get clubbed a little bit, because when you shot it, 3 guys were clubbing you to keep you away from the goal. So you had to fight and get back there and go in. We had some guys had 1 rebound now, like 1 rebound. So.
Coach, Willie played 21 minutes. Dakari played 17. Are you trying to balance them right now down low?
No, I'd like one of them to step out and play more. But Dakari played well. He did. The only reason he didn't play more is because I wanted to give Marcus Lee some time. I mean, he gets 8 rebounds in 17 minutes. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8 rebounds in 17 minutes. Think about that. Pretty good. He practices the same way.
How much energy does he bring?
Oh, he does the same thing. It's just that he's at a position, he doesn't have a skill set to play a 4 at this point. So now I got to figure out, do I got to play him at some 4, and how do I do that? Because Dakari has to play, and I think Willie's good enough to play. Now you got 3 guys at that kind of position. How do you play all 3? Well, one of them's got to play another position.
Cal, just how different are you guys, certainly offensively, when Andrew is out there? And
I don't know. He hadn't been out
do you
there
worry
enough.
a little bit about that? Just that the
No.
team developing that chemistry with him?
I think we got to play Jared some more, and maybe he, plays more point and get Aaron at the position he's, normally plays. But I just think what we've been able to do by really training him like this, today the pace of the game was just too fast. I mean, they sprinted faster back than we raced the ball up the court. We had 6 inches on each guy. So that means their legs were really moving much faster than our legs to get back. We didn't even get close to getting a basket in the first half, a breakout. We didn't get one. Again, you got to give them credit. They come in with the game, and they weren't afraid. Their kids weren't afraid. And you can't say, well, that was a senior group they were all freshmen too. They were all freshmen. So we'll go twice tomorrow. We'll go twice on Sunday. We'll play on Monday and see what happens. See if we can cure some of this stuff.
So, John, you said you wanted to see what you thought of Willis and Hawkins. What did you think of them as you were watching?
They didn't perform as well as they have been in practice and what they did in that scrimmage. When the other team did some things that confused them a little bit, they didn't perform. I mean, Derek gave up more than he scored. Like, he scored a couple baskets, but he gave up like 11 points. You can't give up 11 and score 5. You can give up 11 if you score 20. You can't score 6 and give up 11. Then you can't be in a game. So we left corners, we left shooters. The only way they could beat us was shooting threes. How many games are we going to play this year that's what they're going to do?
John, you said several times you're not going to play 11. Yet you said the other day you've just started on defense. Is defense going to be the tiebreaker eventually?
Yeah, it will be. Energy, effort, defense will be tiebreakers. And so, that's why guys like John and Jared and Mark just keep playing, man, doing what you're doing. And eventually it overcomes any talent deficiency you would have compared to somebody. I'm not saying they're not talented. They are. They're just maybe not as talented as this guy. They've got their talent. But that work, energy, effort, defense will overtake that difference in talent. It really will over time. Now, if they keep doing that and the other guys get challenged, one, they're helping our team because they're going to make us a better team. But they're also putting themselves in a position where they get an opportunity.
Last question.
John Bryan also mentioned that you guys agreed before the game, no fouling out. One of his guys, I think,
Right.
had 8 fouls. What was the incentive for you to?
Because I need the time with players on the court. Like Julius got 2 fouls and walked over and said, I got 2. And I said, just don't worry about it. You're staying in. We only had 10 fouls or so in the game, I think. Is that what we had? We had 11 fouls. But there were a couple body checks I didn't think we needed. But what I'm seeing a little bit is because I'm teaching so much no hands, there's only one guy being active on defense. Just let me see if you watched the game. Who would that be? I knew that. Who was the active guy on defense for us? Yeah. So I got one guy that's being active. So by telling them not to get your hands and do all that, some of the guys are using that to say, well, I can't get up there and play. Well, James is. So, like I said, we got a lot of stuff. And you have to have these. It's kind of like failing fast. You got to have this stuff happen so you can figure out, okay, where do we got to go? How do you got to challenge them? Do they understand? The greatest tool I have is that bench. Sit down and cheer. Sit down and cheer. And I've been here before. I mean, I think it was 19-17 last year, 11-4 the year before we were down. I've had teams, really good teams, losing these exhibition games. So this is what you want. At least give us something that we can learn from. Thanks.